Today marks the deadline that top House Republicans gave the Justice Department to turn over all documents requested by congressional investigators. House Speaker Paul Ryan slamming the DOJ yesterday for their failure to comply with the subpoena.
They could have spared the country a whole bunch of drama if they would have complied with these document requests months ago when they were made in the first place.
But a senior DOJ official tells Fox News, quote, "Last Friday, we agreed to provide specific documents by Friday or explain why we couldn't. That process is underway, including delivery of many of the requested documents yesterday and today." Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge is live in Washington with the latest. Catherine.
Well, thanks, Melissa. Fox News is told the Justice Department has produced more records this week, but right now it still falls short of the congressional subpoenas. In the meantime, we're learning more information about that key meeting last Friday involving the House Speaker, FBI Director, and Deputy Attorney General, as well as the 3 House committee chairmen. 2 sources tell Fox News that the FBI Director and Deputy Attorney General were given 3 days from that Friday by House Republicans to hand over records about intelligence activities and the FBI's alleged use of confidential sources prior to July 31st, 2016. And that's a key date because it's when the FBI officially opened the Russia collusion investigation. With that deadline missed and a looming deadline today for the remaining records under subpoena, the House Speaker, as you just heard him say, did not take contempt off the table. Here's House Speaker Ryan.
I am supportive of making sure we get the documents we rightly deserve, that we legitimately requested. We expect compliance. I'm still getting daily reports from our committee chairs about the progress on compliance.
Multiple sources described to Fox News that last Friday's meeting, it was rare, impactful, because new information came to light about intelligence activities, and this is the key thing, Melissa, appeared to shift the timeline earlier than July 31st, 2016. And they said Congressman Gowdy's outspoken statements on Fox News Sunday reflected that new information.
Paul made it very clear there's going to be action on the floor of the House this week if the FBI and DOJ do not comply with our subpoena request. So Rod Rosenstein, Chris Wray, you were in the meeting. You understood him just as clearly as I did. We're going to get compliance, or the House of Representatives is going to use its full arsenal of constitutional weapons to gain compliance.
I just want to draw your attention to a key line from that Justice Department official's statement. They said that if the records are not provided, they will explain to the congressional committees why they are refusing to comply with the congressional subpoenas. And based on our reporting today, we think that's going to take the form of a letter, maybe later today, Melissa.
Meanwhile, former FBI Director James Comey firing back at Hillary Clinton after the failed presidential candidate commented on the revelation that Comey used a personal email account to conduct official FBI business. So Clinton tweeted, quote, "But my emails," alongside news of the finding. Here's what the former FBI director had to say.
I don't want to criticize her, but it shows me that even at this late date, she doesn't understand what the investigation in her case was about. It was not about her use of a personal email system. It was about communicating about classified topics on that system.
Joining me now to weigh in on all of this is President of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton. What do you make of this?
Well, when it comes to Hillary Clinton, no corrupt deed goes unpunished. James Comey covered up her email crimes for her. And of course, Hillary Clinton was unhappy with the way he talked about some of what she did. And so she's pushing back against him. And there is some irony because he did improperly use a private email system to do some government business. And on top of that, he's being investigated for mishandling classified information, just like Hillary was. So in many ways, legally speaking, they're two peas in a pod. But what Hillary Clinton did was egregious beyond all imagination in terms of a cabinet official setting up a separate email system to conduct all of her government business with the purpose of keeping those emails away from the American people without a care about its impact on national security and the public interest.
Does she not have a care, or is she really, because sometimes, you know, when she answered these questions, it did seem like she's really clueless about technology. And that, you know, she sort of, it kept trying to say to her, when you take something that is classified or secret out of a domain where it's protected and you have it out in another place, it's being exposed. And she would always conflate the idea of like using a Gmail with conducting business on an insecure server. Is there any chance that it's just kind of all technology to her, and she needs, you know, like a 10-year-old to come over and sort of set up her system and explain it to her like I do?
No, Yuma Abedin testified to Judicial Watch. It was her idea to have the separate system. She was warned repeatedly by national security officials in her agency, the State Department. We uncovered the documents. The FBI and DOJ covered those documents up, that she was warned repeatedly about the impact of using private devices on in terms of security, and she was contemptuous of that. She called them the security hawks. And even this latest tweet, you know, I'm sure she's having some fun at Comey's expense, but there's nothing fun about what she did. And frankly, she still faces criminal liability if the Justice Department and the FBI are finally going to honestly approach this issue, because we now know the prior investigation had zero credibility and needs to be redone.
So James Comey, his response was that all he was doing is he would sit at home and write a speech for something that he was supposed to do, something innocuous that contained no classified information. He would do it on his own time at home, and then he would email it in from his personal email into his work email to have the work there later when he showed up. That's how he explained it. What do you make of that?
It's the convenience excuse, which is something we've heard from Mrs. Clinton disingenuously. The IG concluded that that was not appropriate. He shouldn't have done it, and it raises questions about responses to congressional inquiries and Judicial Watch FOIA lawsuits, whether his email account personally should have been searched as well. You just can't take anything that James Comey says at face value anymore, and we need some verification, and the FBI and DOJ needs to investigate.
Do you think the American public has the stomach for another investigation? I mean, now to sort of chase down James Comey when he's already out of the public eye, he's already been fired. How relevant is that in your opinion?
Well, he's already being investigated for the mishandling of classified information, and that would be tied to his email use, so it's no big deal to clarify what went on here by investigators in the IG, in the least.
What do you make of now the back and forth between James Comey and Andrew McCabe about whether or not, I guess, Comey knew that Andrew McCabe was communicating with the New York Times and with others that he was giving stories out to? They're both sort of pointing the finger at each other and saying that the other one is lying. You have a lot of experience trying to get documents out of the government to try and prove one way or the other who's telling the truth. What needs to be done there? What do you make of that mess?
You know, it's hard to tell who to believe. I think you can be sure that the leak was inappropriate, and neither of them want to have their fingerprints on it. So it explains that maybe both are pointing fingers in a inappropriate way, or in a way that's not credible, at each other. And again, it's the leak that was inappropriate. McCabe says he has permission. Yeah. Comey says he wants no part of it. Now, in defense of McCabe, we know that Comey improperly leaked the FBI records of the President of the United States. So again, Mr. Comey is the worst witness in terms of credibility.
Although he always says it's not a leak. It wasn't a leak. So there you go. Anyway.